I think I represent part of the coalition that elected President Trump. We were tired of endless wars in the Middle East and tired of wars in Eastern Europe. And we were promised that we would put our veterans, our immigration policies, and our infrastructure first. What he promised us was we would put America first. I think this was a bad move politically, but it's also just a bad move legally and constitutionally and policy-wise.
Republican Congressman Thomas Massie is putting Donald Trump on full blast, and now the president is promising to take him down in the next election. Now, last week, Massie joined with Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna in introducing a war powers resolution that essentially would stop Trump from taking unilateral military action in Iran. Now, Massie says that there are now 57 co-sponsors on that resolution. And over the weekend, he condemned Trump's decision to bomb Iran's nuclear sites and challenged the idea that Iran posed an imminent threat specifically to the United States. Now, he also called out AIPAC's influence on his colleagues in Congress, and it wasn't the first time he's done this. Take a look.
You still got calmer heads that could prevail.
They were not persuasive in this case, clearly.
Well, somebody was persuasive. AIPAC is very persuasive. For instance, the Israeli lobby in Congress. If you look at my colleagues' feeds now, they all look the same. They're all tweeting the same message that we've got to support Israel and we've got to do this.
When you say the pro-Israel lobby, AIPAC, do you see a difference between Israel's interests and American interests?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, Iran, the reality is they don't have a missile that can reach the United States. They're not near to getting a missile that can reach the United States. I think this, what has happened, what has transpired this week has been planned for months. That this administration and maybe even the administration prior to that said, you go in and soften them up, take out their air defense capabilities, and then we'll send in the big bombers.
So Massie does not like using up and expending US resources on wars. He understandably is concerned that this is going to drag the United States into yet another forever regime change war. At the moment, there are allegations by Trump that Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire. By the way, the slaughter in Gaza continues. The annexation of Palestinian land in the West Bank continues. Everyone's forgotten about that. And for Palestinians who are not in that situation, who have been able to flee Gaza, might be living in other parts of the world, just want to apologize for what our government is funding, the absolute slaughter of your people who apparently the international community doesn't care about at all. And it breaks my heart, but go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, so Tom Massie is Dr. No, right? So he votes no on a lot of bills and he does it because he thinks we spend too much money. On a huge percentage of those, I disagree with Tom Massie, but I've never seen him be dishonest. And that is super rare for an American politician. So I've got 3 on the board as never being dishonest: Massie, Bernie, and Ro Khanna. Okay, and I include Ro in that because when we disagree, he comes out and say we disagree and we fight over it. And then when we agree, right? And so I've seen him prove himself to be honest. I've seen Massie prove himself to be honest. Now you want to know who's co-sponsoring the War Powers Resolution? Tom Massie and Ro Khanna. And who's doing likewise in the Senate? Bernie Sanders. And by the way, surprisingly, Tim Kaine. So credit to Tim Kaine on that. Although people are reporting, The Intercept is reporting, one of our members just wrote in about it, that the Democrats are secretly happy about the strikes. A lot of the Democratic leadership.
They're not. It's not a secret. I think they're being pretty clear about how.
No. Now since it already happened, they don't need to push Trump into it. Schumer is now afterwards. Before, when Tim Kaine, again, I can't believe Tim Kaine's a good guy here, but Tim Kaine was like, "Let's go, let's vote on this thing that blocks him from doing it." Schumer was like, "We'll act at a later time if we think it's necessary." And then Ro Khanna got in a lot of trouble in DC because he's like, what do you mean if necessary and later? It's necessary right now, right? But after Trump already does the bombing, then Schumer comes out and goes, oh yeah, we are opposed to that. right?
Yeah.
So, but that's why The Intercept reporting that they're secretly very happy about it.
Yep.
Makes sense.
So let's get to Trump and his fury over what Thomas Massie has been saying. He's not happy at all. In response to Massie's very public campaign criticizing the president's actions, Trump wrote an essay-long rant on Truth Social saying that Thomas Massie of Kentucky is not MAGA. Hold on, let's pause for a second. Make America great again, or America first, right? How exactly does it make sense to, without any debate, spend tens of billions of dollars on bombing a country that doesn't have nuclear weapons? Okay, but I'll continue. Even though he likes to say he is, actually MAGA doesn't want him, doesn't know him, and doesn't respect him. He is a negative force who almost always votes no matter how good something may be. He's a simple-minded grandstander, a lot of projection happening here, yeah. Who thinks it's good politics for Iran to have the highest level nuclear weapon, while at the same time yelling death to America at every chance they get. You know what? I too think that we should bomb countries over chance. This lightweight, he continues, Congressman is against what was so brilliantly achieved last night in Iran. Massie is weak, ineffective, and votes no on virtually everything put before him. Rand Paul Jr., so a little shot fired right there when it comes to Rand Paul. No matter how good something may be, he is disrespectful to our great military and all they stand for. Let's just acknowledge the fact that being disrespectful to the military is essentially using them as pawns to fight a war on behalf of a foreign government. And that's what our military has been used for in various wars, by the way. Whether we're talking about Iraq, Libya, I mean, the list goes on and on. Syria, in the case of Syria, obviously we helped to fund the rebels, arm the rebels. We got involved in that war, not to the same extent that we did with Libya or Iraq, but how does it make sense to support our troops by putting them in danger on behalf of a foreign government?
Yeah, and as Massie explained, not only do they not have nukes, it would take them years to develop a bomb that could deliver the nuclear material to America. So we had other ways of stopping that, including a peace treaty. But no one on television is talking about a peace treaty because they all wanted the war. So look, I was a little surprised in this story. So he's super harsh against Massie. We got more harsh things that he said, and we have Massie's response in a second. But he said MAGA doesn't respect him. He's a lightweight, and he's disrespectful to our military. First of all, again, for Anna's point, disrespectful to the military. You know what that sounds like? Support the troops. In the Iraq War, they got all the Republicans to think that the war was a good idea with this dumbass slogan of support the troops. If you supported the troops, you wouldn't send them into harm's way in the first place. You wouldn't go send them to die in Iraq. But they're like, no, if you get the troops killed, that's supporting them. It's just Orwellian propaganda, right? So Massie's right. So, but I thought that the Massie contingent would be very strong and would defend Massie against Trump. Not as strong as I expected. Okay, and I'll be honest about that, but there is a contingent, and we'll talk about that in a second, but first, more of the war.
Okay, so, they've reportedly been talking with potential Republican challengers, meaning opponents to Massie, led by Trump, and commissioned a Trump-friendly poll to gauge Massie's support toward Massie in his district in Kentucky. The survey, which was conducted by Trump pollster John McLaughlin, found that 52% would support a Trump-endorsed candidate and 23% support Massie. 87% approved of Trump compared with 52% for Massie. La Civita said in a statement, and La Civita was of course the campaign manager for Trump 2024, Massie's longtime opposition to President Trump's working family tax cuts and really anything to do with President Trump is coming to an end. Thomas Little Boy Massie will be fired. But Massie easily survived primary challengers in the last 3 cycles. We'll see what happens this time around. I have no doubt that the Republicans with the leadership of Trump are going to try to challenge him again. And he told Axios, quote, any serious person considering running should spend money on an independent poll before letting swampy consultants take them for an embarrassing ride.
Yeah, and so is there a contingent that are anti-war, libertarians, independents, and some sliver of MAGA that are supporting Massie? Definitely, it's a real contingent, and they mean it, and it's great to see. We might disagree on other things, but the fact that they're truly anti-war and for America is a wonderful thing.
And Massie's
is it big enough? We'll find out. I'm going to come back to that in a second.
And Massie's correct, okay? He's worried about the dire straits that America is currently dealing with, okay? $37 trillion in debt. We're spending $1 trillion a year in servicing that debt.
Look, last thing, MAGA is attacking Massie now. So the majority of MAGA is on Trump's side. As far as I can see, that's my read of it. I think that poll is fake, and I'm super curious what's gonna happen to Massie in his primary. If they eliminate Massie, that means if you don't lick Donald Trump's boots, you're 100% eliminated, no matter how honest you are, no matter how principled you are, no matter how America first you are or MAGA you are, it doesn't matter. So that will be a critical race to watch in Kentucky. Massie has his own army, but MAGA is very mad at him now because he upset Daddy. So if you're in the part of MAGA who's upset with Massie for being a principled America first guy, you should be embarrassed. I know you won't be. You'll say, no, Daddy's right, Daddy's right. Okay, go home to Daddy, but Massie's actually anti-war. And it's incredible to see an honest Republican actually mean what they say. And that is what Thomas Massie is in favor of. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.